Hello everyone, it is Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter from Vancouver Island, Canada. It is Monday, May 6th. Had to think about that like usual. And tonight I am going to show you an easy card design that you will find right in the brand new catalog. And I'll be using the brand new Seaside Wishes Bundle with tonight's project. So I know what I'm making, but I haven't made it yet, so we'll see how it turns out. All right, I'm gonna flip my camera around, so if you get dizzy, you wanna close your eyes. Oh, and this, if you're seeing this and it's creeping you out, this is just a sun catcher. It is my spider sun catcher. It is not a real spider. Sometimes that surprises people. All right, flipping camera around and we will get started. All right, so I'm just going to adjust so you can see my workstation. And I am refreshing my laptop so I can see any comments as they come up. And I need to shut the volume off on my laptop. Classic Kate, I'm always forgetting something. So this is the brand new May 2024 to April 2025 catalog. And on page 22 of this catalog, there is a whole bunch. I'll lift my camera up a bit so you can see it better. There's a whole bunch of sketch ideas on the bottom of this page. So how's that for inspiration? So cool. So tonight, we're gonna try this one. Hold that up closer so you can see it. So we're gonna go with this sketch idea tonight using the Seaside Wishes Bundle. So to get started, I'll move that a little way. We've got our card base. I'm using basic beige. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side. Hey Nancy, hey Karen, thanks for tuning in. I have got for the inside, just the layers I usually cut, early espresso. This is 5 1/4 by 4, and then another basic beige, which is 5 by 3 3/4. So that's just going to be for the inside of the card. I've got another piece of early espresso, and that is 4 by 4.5. This is Crumb Cake. And this layer is 3 7/8 by 4 3/8. So, oh, and this is another piece of basic beige, and I've cut this with the nested dies, banner die, and we'll stamp on that. So I'm gonna put that, tuck that in the card so I don't lose it. And we'll start out with these layers. So what I'm gonna do first is emboss my crumb cake with the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. This is brand new. I've used it once. So let me grab my cut and emboss machine. I feel like I got a million things in my craft space today. It's been a day. I don't know if anybody else is feeling it, but it's been a really tough day. And one of my work colleagues, who is fairly new to the building, and she's awesome, I think she's going to be one of my new work buddies. She said that it's coming up a new moon, and when that happens, it we just get a little bit off, which I actually had no idea. So it has to do with the gravitational pull of the moon, and I'm telling you, I was feeling off today, and it started on my drive to work, which was the craziest thing because, so just a tip, when you run your embossing folders through your machine, I'm sure this is old news, you want to go crease first, right? So where it's folded, not the loose ends, you want to go fold side first, and then it's just a little bit easier on your embossing folder. So I'm just going to run this through and show you how awesome this is. Yeah, it is a Monday, I know, but this was an exceptionally crappy Monday, so I'm gonna put this aside and before I put away this machine, we are also going to use the embossing folder and dies. So the Seaside Wishes Bundle, it's a hybrid embossing folder, which there's a funny story about that I'll tell you about. And then it also comes with dies. But these dies fit right in the embossing folder. So I was playing with this yesterday and I was asking Tanya, like, obviously I must emboss first and then die cut, right? Like that's what I thought. I thought I wouldn't put my dies right in the folder, it would wreck the folder. And Tanya says, have you read the instructions? No. I didn't even know they came with instructions. And why would I read instructions when I've got Tanya to tell me how to do it, right? Anyway, it turns out there's instructions. And yes, these go right in your folder. So the negative space, so where these sand dollars are indented in, so your negative space, you just line it up and it literally, like, it slides right in there. So I know I've got it the right way. Now I've got an extra piece of basic beige and we're gonna roll this through. So if I just wanted to emboss, I wouldn't put the die cuts in there, but I want to cut out my sand dollars. So this is my very first hybrid folder and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me get this out of the way and then I'm going to show you the magic. All right, so here is the embossed sand dollars, and I'm just going to pop it all out. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? They look so real. Just awesome. I've never found sand dollars out here in the Victoria area of the island, but I've found them in Parksville. So if anybody has found them out here, let me know because that would be cool. All right, so I have all the pieces cut and embossed, and we're just going to start out by gluing our embossed piece of crumb cake onto the early espresso. And while I'm doing that, I'll finish my story. So Monday starts out super bizarre. I'm driving into the office. I want to switch lanes on Highway 1. I very rarely have a problem switching lanes on Highway 1. I turn on my signal light, I just gently merge in, I never cut it close, and I always make sure I have room when I want to change lanes. Well, today I decided I'm going to change lanes, and I've got lots of room in between vehicles, so I turn on my signal light, and the car that's coming up in the lane that I want to merge into pins it, literally pins it. And so I can't safely merge anymore because the vehicle is coming at such a high rate of speed. So I back off and then I keep my blinker on. I'm like, that's okay. I'll just go in after. Well, then the next vehicle, I don't know if they see me or if they're in a rush or if there's a fire. I don't know. Same thing happens. That vehicle hits the gas and I cannot safely merge in. It happened not once, not twice, 3 times. 3 times this morning I couldn't switch lanes. So while I'm gabbing away, I should have mentioned this is the new basic beige ribbon. So I've just cut a piece of that and I am going to glue it to the bottom, well not glue it, I'm going to tape it to the bottom third of this layer. So anyway, I finally safely make it over into my lane. And when I got to work, I was out in the parking lot at work because I was convinced that my signal light clearly wasn't working. Well, it was working, so I don't know what that was about. So that was the start of the day, and then it was just one of those days. Everything felt off. I was feeling kind of blah and lonely and meh. And then I run into my coworker who says, blame the new moon. So yeah, maybe I will blame the new moon. I used to work police dispatch when I was younger, and I'm telling you, full moons really were crazy night shifts. So I'm a believer. Anyway, apparently I've got a couple more days and then hopefully maybe I'll feel better. All right, so I've cut my nails and I'm struggling with my tear and tape, so I'm going to grab my trusty take your pick tool. If you do not have one of these, I think these are an essential, a Stampin' Up essential. I use it for everything, except when I can't find it. All right, so we've got this, and it's just going to get glued down on my card front, like so. Hello, Shannon, all the way from Southern California. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know if you just tuned in, but I was telling my friends about my bizarre start of Monday with clearly my signal light not working, but it was, I don't know what was happening. I usually don't have problems commuting. Like, I don't know if any of you living out here in the greater Victoria area commute, but usually everything is fine. I have no problems. All right, so I'm just going to adhere this layer to the front of my card base, like so. And now I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I have to make a decision. Am I going portrait like this or landscape? I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about it while I stamp the sentiment. Oh, Marianne, you're having trouble with the sound and the picture cutting out. That's too bad. I'm going to lower my phone a bit, and that might fix the sound. The phone might be a little bit too high up too high. So hopefully my mic is catching my voice better. As for the picture quality, I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, I'm just standing up so I can get my head over this banner, and my voice is going to get louder. I just want to try to get in the middle, and I'm stamping in Early Espresso. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, Karen says landscape. Shannon says landscape. Shannon, sound for you is good, and so's the picture. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Marianne, if you're having trouble, that's a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. All right, where did the ink come from? I've already got little tiny ink smudges on here. I don't know how I do that. I don't know how I do it. So what I'm going to do is add some sound dollars to the front of my card. Probably like that. And when I know where I want to put everything, I'm going to commit. So I will use dimensionals for the sound dollar, but I will glue down my banner. I picked Kai up after school today. He goes to school in Souk. So it's about a 40-minute drive when I leave work. And we picked up Indian food from this restaurant in Souk, and oh my goodness, it is the best. It's the best. I love it. I think it's called India Delight. It's just right downtown Souk, but if you like Indian and if you haven't tried it, I really think it's worth a try. I've heard other people say good things about it, and it is confirmed. It's delicious. Kai got the butter chicken, and I got the eggplant barda because I'm trying to eat more vegetarian dishes, but trust me, I had to have some of the butter chicken too because it's pretty dang good. All right, now I put my dimensional just a little bit too low, and I've lost the stick, so I'll just add one. I just try to make sure that my dimensionals do not stick onto the ribbon, and sometimes I find it easier if I add the dimensionals to the card instead of whatever I'm trying to stick to. But all right, Sand Dollar 1. All right, you've never had Indian food. Well, Shannon, it depends if you like spice, because I like spice and my son likes spice. And I know you can get varying levels of spice, but Indian food is definitely flavorful. So if you've never had Indian food, and anybody please jump in, I think the first thing you need to start out with is butter chicken. It is delicious. I really like the eggplant Bartha. I think it's Bartha, but eggplant isn't everybody's cup of tea, right? Okay, that's it for the front of the card. Now, what I was thinking I would do with the leftover sand dollar is cut it in half and add it to the inside corners of my card. And I just need to remember that I'm landscape, right? Because I could forget, and then that would be silly. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to this top corner and stick this sand dollar down. And then I'll just trim the edges off. Now, have any of you already picked up this Seaside Wishes Bundle from the new catalog? I heard that it's already out of stock, which doesn't surprise me because it's really pretty. And you can do masculine and feminine cards with this bundle, which is nice. I'll be using this bundle for one of the make and takes for May 18th for the Crafty Spring Social that my friend, the Canadian Stamper, and I are hosting. The cutoff for that was May 4th. But if you were hoping to go and didn't know that there was a cutoff date, just send either myself or Tanya, the Canadian Stamper, a message, and we will double check and see if we can squeeze in an extra person. It would be tight because I know it was pretty popular. And our registration was almost sold out shortly after we announced it back last month. So it's going to be a lot of fun. That is in person. It's in Colwood on the island. And we're going to do make and takes, games. We're going to have some prizes. There's a goodie station where you get to make a sample pack of your own designer series paper that's new out of the catalog. I'm forgetting something. Anyway, it's going to be lots of fun. Now I'm just going to glue this down onto my early espresso. Like so. Yeah, Cindy, I wish you lived closer too. I don't know what it's like where you live, but our crafting community in the southern part of Vancouver Island it's thriving. Like, there's a lot of crafty women that like to get together, and we socialize quite often, and there's always something going on. So if you ever come out for another visit, let me know, and I'll try to meet up with you. That goes for any of you who want to come out for a visit to Vancouver Island. If you don't live local, let me know, because maybe it'll work out and we can meet and go for coffee and do a little crafting. I'm sure the Starbucks and the Serious Coffee are getting sick of us, because between Tanya and myself, we show up with groups of ladies for coffee and crafts quite often. And I'm not sure about Tanya's groups, but we definitely spend a lot of time. Shannon, I live on Vancouver Island, Canada. All right, done. Here is our card for the night. Voila, isn't that pretty? It turned out really nice, and I like these sand dollars in the corner of the card. Now I'll show you some of my samples. There's one I cannot show you because it's the make and take for May 18th, but I will show you after May 18th, or maybe even live during the crafty event. But this one I did with the Plain in the Rain bundle, and I had already colored this fox with the pretty and pink Stampin' blends, And this paper is some of the old designer series paper that came out with this set in the way back. I think it was 2 catalogs ago when this was introduced in a mini catalog. I just can't remember which one. I think last spring. Anyway, this made it to the annual catalog last year, but not the paper. And it's sticking around for another year. I wish the paper always stayed, to be honest, because I really like the paper that came with that. Shannon, you went last year on an Alaskan cruise. Vancouver for 4 days. Well, it is beautiful up here for sure. I am envious because I think I would really like to do a cruise. And the other sample I did was with the, I think this is called Unbounded Beauty DSP, but I could be wrong. It's brand new in the catalog. It's with all the new ink colors. This is the Country Flowers dies that I just cut out this little bucket and all these leaves and the flowers. So this is Summer Splash, and this darker pink is Petunia Pop, and that is Pretty in Pink. And then the leaves are the Shy Shamrock. And the only color that I didn't stamp was the Peach Pie. Yeah, Peach Pie. You're right, Cindy, the Raindrop Embossing Folder Woodwork. That is one I don't have. Add it to my list. Okay, we are done. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm just going to tell you about a few things that are coming up. If you aren't interested in any online or in-person classes, then now's a good time just to say goodbye because I don't want to bore you, but I just have a list. So I've already talked about May 18th for the Crafty Spring Social. So that is almost full and registration closed, but please let me know if you have FOMO, because I'm sure we can squeeze 1 or 2 more people in. May 26th, my next free online card class, I will use Country Flowers. So that's coming up the last Sunday of May at 10 a.m. It will be on Facebook. Anyone can join. It is completely free. I will design projects soon and post the measurements in a Facebook event. And then all you got to do is just cut your paper and craft along. And if you don't have the Country Flowers bundle, use whatever you have and use whatever paper you have. If you live in Canada, there is an option to get all the card kits for free. So we can talk about that if you're interested. It just makes crafting a little bit easier. And then June, there will be an online class mid-June with the Seaside Wishes Bundle. So that one won't be posted on my Facebook page. It's not a free class, but if you're interested, then you need to subscribe to my newsletter. And I will post a link in the comments for my newsletter. So that is coming mid-June. I'm going to flip the camera around. And thank everybody for tuning in live. And for those of you catching me on replay, I appreciate that you take the time to watch my videos as well. I hope everybody has a really good night. If you do catch me on replay, either Facebook or YouTube, say hello and tell me where you're from. And lastly, if you try this design, I really love to see what you make. So feel free to post your creations in the comments. And I will see you probably not next Monday because I'm going away for a work trip. So I'll keep you posted on the Facebook page, but I'll probably do my Facebook Live on Sunday. Just because I don't think that I will have enough or strong internet connection at the hotel when I go away next week. And that's it. Everybody have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.